So today we are at the Art Chamber in Kalangut, and also known as the Yolanda Studio. And with us is none other than the director, the founder, the creator of this beautiful studio, which you will see. So we have with us Mrs. Yolanda Souza Kamamea, who is kind enough to give us her time and her place in the studio to conduct this discussion with her about her work and her art and her life. So thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Absolutely.
You were originally a football player, and you were in fact not just a football player, you were declared the footballer of the year, of the decade, and also you were the only one who made a hat-trick in the international football scene. From there, you went into what you call the Bachelor of Fine Arts. You did your studies in Goa. Now, how do you see yourself merging football and, on the other hand, art?
Right. First, let me correct regards this place. It's not only my creation, it's a creation of mine along with my husband. So it's a
Wonderful.
two-way thing. Since he's a pianist, we started it, of course, as a gallery, but then we decided to have a dedicated space wherein we wanted to merge art with music.
Wonderful.
And so it was designed in such a way that we could also have classical music being played. Yeah, regards I would not say that it was a transition because, playing, every kid plays. Everybody starts by playing around.
That's right, yeah.
Whether if it's toys or toy football or whatever. So it was not a transition. It was not that I finished playing football and I got into art. It was my education, the art part of it. Well, football was a game that one played for the passion of it. You can say I had two passions. One was, which would be my career, because at that time football was not a career. You played for the glory of the sport, to represent the country and be proud of it, to take the country and the state to a certain level where the game is concerned, for the glory of the game. Yeah, not for the money involved, because there wasn't money involved in that. So it was never a question of playing football or finishing with football and starting with art, because the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree is a 5-year course.
That's right, yeah. Right.
So you can't kind of finish and whatever. So it went hand in hand. So there was no two ways about.
No, but you were also very much involved in hockey and other sports.
That's exactly what I said, because when you start, my dad was a football player, very well known for that matter, not only in Goa but in Bombay. He was like a legend, everybody spoke about him. And my mom was an artist. Okay. So I guess
you got the best of both the worlds.
Absolutely. Yeah. Somehow I got the best of both, So the question of us playing never arose, because every kid plays.
Right.
So since I came from a sporty family, my mother was very sporting herself, but obviously in those days girls didn't play or whatever. As much, in Goa at least. And so I used to play every game. I learned, hockey wasn't played in Goa. It was, in Goa you would play games like football, of course, and badminton, table tennis, volleyball were the Goa games during those days of the Portuguese. But hockey I learned from my friends from Bombay who would come to Goa, and that they would be playing and we would be playing with them. And my brother was in Xavier, so he was being taught hockey. He would play hockey because they had a coach from Kerala, Mr. Tarakan. So I learned the game there, and I was playing the same with badminton. In fact, the first time I went to play badminton, we got a new PE teacher. And this guy, of course, knew all the games. He saw that I was good, and he took us for the tournament. We defeated a good team, but I didn't even know how to count. I didn't even know what was happening. Okay, but then somebody who saw me play, from the badminton association at that time, called me for a camp. So from then on, I started playing, and I got to play for the state. I even attended, India camps and stuff like that. And with hockey the same. It's a team game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But Xavier's at that time, hockey was quite popular in Goa. So they used to have tournaments. So there was a team from Giring called Aquarius. So they asked me to play for them. So I was playing for them. Obviously, I got selected for the state and whatever, and that's how it happened.
Oh, wonderful. See, now, since now we are talking about your artwork,
Yeah.
let us look at what actually is happening in the art world today.
Right.
Now, you have become an international celebrity, both in terms of your solo exhibitions as well as your group exhibition. I would like to know this Japan, Canada, Hungary, Poland, all these countries you've been to. Which was the country that gave you the greatest satisfaction in the fact that they recognized your work?
No, it was in every country. It was an experience that was beautiful.
Okay.
There was no question about that because for me, where art is concerned, it's very individual, and I'm not very much into kind of a competition kind of a thing. I paint. If somebody likes it, that's good. If somebody is not very into my kind of work, it's fine too. Because for me, the first thing is to make myself happy about what I'm doing. So every place I went to, it was a wonderful experience. It was something that I enjoyed. So I can't be selective, but I can say one thing. The place that attracted me most, where art is concerned, it was arty, where I could go and see galleries, where I could hear music, jazz, classical, everything was Montreal.
Montreal.
That was the first place where I had a solo show of mine, and that's where my international kind of interact began. It was like, I didn't want to take it because I didn't even know the gallery. But fortunately, very funnily, in the same year, this gentleman, a guy from a friend of mine came with another person here. And this guy happened to be from Montreal.
Okay.
So he says, don't worry, I'm there. You go ahead and get it done. And he helped me a hell of a lot.
Wow.
He was at there, he's from Goa, but he lives down there at Basil. So he helped me a lot. And the Goan people out there, I didn't know. I had friends with whom I had played hockey, for the state, who had traveled abroad. I knew, but I didn't know that they were in Montreal.
Okay.
Okay, so it was for me a big surprise when they came to meet me, and then I said, wow, you are here. So it was beautiful. And for me, the most arty place of the ones that I've visited is Montreal, and I always have a kind of a feeling of going back there. Because everywhere you went, you saw art.
Okay.
Everywhere you went, you saw music. There was classical music. There have, jazz happenings yearly, international jazz, where the top of the top artists come. So for me, Montreal was.
Now, you have won many international awards.
Yeah.
Now, awards are wonderful things, but there are always one or two awards which make sense to you the most. Which is that one award?
Obviously, the first one.
The Montreal.
No, Montreal was an exhibition of art. I had my solo show there. And this year in Hungary was an international art residency where they invite artists from various countries. So it was my first residency, abroad. And there they have a committee that goes. We had individual studios. Each one had his own studio, his own place to stay. So we were very free to be ourselves. We could paint wherever, but we could, I like to be alone when I paint somehow, because I connect with my work better. I like to just, be myself and the work.
You're a very private person.
In many ways, yes. But where painting is concerned, somehow, I like to be alone, that I can connect with my work much better. I think it works with most people. There are times, of course, when you do it, with people around you. But then the subject or matter always sometimes becomes something that is more easygoing and whatever, So that one was the first one for me, and I really enjoyed because it was a surprise for me.
Which scheme do you use the most? Is it acrylic? Is it?
I used to use oils, before, as everybody does. And because when we started, acrylic was not in use. It came much later. So initially I was adverse to it, I didn't know how to use it, but then I started working on it. Watercolors I like to work with, so it used to be acrylic, it used to be oils and watercolors on paper. But then I thought I'll try out with this acrylic, and I tried out many ways, and I found that it was very flexible, that you could use it as in you would use watercolors, or you can use it in pasto, or you can use it like you would use oils, It's very flexible, and I enjoyed it, and I also preferred it because with oils and go it's very difficult. During the monsoons you get humidity and then fungus, and it's very difficult to get it out. And number two, it's a very slow process in oils, and I like to move with my work. I like to move fast when I work.
Now, just to change the subject a little bit, how did COVID affect you and your paintings?
Yes, COVID did affect in a big way. Number one, you get blocked, You get totally blocked because your mind doesn't work.
Right.
You're in a space that you have never been. You're not going out because, when you go out, basically with me, it's when I go out and see something happening, it touches me or whatever. So even if you went to the TV and you tried to watch the news, everything was regards COVID worldwide,
So complete blockage.
It was a block, but I tried to get out of it very slowly. I would be doing one thing or the other. And then I started painting very small little works, changing not totally my style, but normally I'm very figurative, and I tried to be a little bit off, trying to do things in a different way. For example, I worked I worked acrylics on paper, which I'd never done before. Much the same way that I do but then it was like I was creating something and then finding things in it, which I elaborated.
Okay.
So from that time I started kind of doing this, and then in 21 I had a solo. In fact, last year, during this time I think, I had a solo of all these little works I had created. So they were quite a few works that I put up, but they were all related to COVID and worldwide happenings apart from COVID. Like where the works were concerned, it was also about the seafarers who had problems coming here. Everything that people got affected too by COVID, in one way or the other. And also works that tried to show that we had to, fight it. So like Against the Tide was one name of one of the works, because we had to fight it out.
Yes, exactly. No question about that.
Yeah, so that's the way I used it. And then basically later on I started doing my normal work, which,
So in terms of your own art, do you have a guru that you really admire, or say, wow, I wish I could be like that?
No, I never wish that I could be like anybody else.
You want to be your own,
with who I am.
You want to be your own guru.
Yes, but I have people who inspire me, people whose work really, makes me feel, wow, this is the way you should go, Picasso, of course, has been my inspiration, and the guy I look forward to.
Right, okay.
There are many artists who I like. That's not that I like Picasso, I said. There are many artists that I like, but Picasso is the one who inspires me, because I much like to work in the same manner, For example, I never make a sketch, My sketch is in my mind. My thoughts are there.
It goes there.
Yeah, and I directly go to the canvas and I work. Okay, because I feel that if you make a sketch,
It doesn't.
Yeah. No, you put all your energy there, and then when you go to work, you don't have any fun,
That's right.
The fun is to be on the canvas.
Absolutely.
And
Original.
put your thoughts there.
Yeah.
The feeling is very different.
Yeah, right.
Like basically, my creating the image in the mind is through words. I think of something, then I jot down whatever.
Okay.
And then I directly
Right,
to the canvas. Yeah, that's how it is.
Now, just to go a little bit on your family life.
Right.
On the one side, you have a musician husband.
That's right.
On the other side, you have a booming artist coming up called Sarah, your daughter.
Yeah.
So tell us about each of them.
Sarah, yeah. Of course, Rudy is a classical pianist, and he's the one who makes music happen here.
Yeah.
You know, every time there's something, he was involved. Also, in the first Ketavan festival,
Okay.
he was the one who actually initiated the thing along with our Santi, who passed away. You know, and he's the one who creates music here. You know, but he also likes art, so he was also running the gallery because I couldn't paint and run the gallery, you know.
Sure.
So he was running the gallery. There are many shows of various artists from all over India that we used to kind of have here. During the COVID, it took kind of a, you know, and there was a time when, art was hit due to the meltdown. It happened somewhere in 2005, 2006. Because I remember when I went to Montreal, it had hit the world over, the meltdown. So what gets hit before anything else is art, because it's like, you know. So so there people didn't sell and they were very upset. I was lucky to have sold, but the other artists who were there were solo shows by a Brazilian artist also, and he was very upset because he said, I put so much money to come all the way here and nothing is happening, you know, hardly people are coming. But it had happened everywhere and there. So he says, listen, this is something that I cannot do anything about because it's the, result of the meltdown. And I used to go to galleries empty. Nobody would be there in the galleries, no shows. So here it started somewhere in 2007. Up to 2006, 2007, it was like, people would come and just, these are the works. They would just pick the works, no question about the cost of the works. They would just pick works and make. And later on, all over. In Goa, galleries had mushroomed like nobody's business.
I see, okay.
They all closed down because there were no sales.
Yeah, that's right.
But artists and people who are passionate about art will carry on. And so
what about Sarah?
Sarah likes to paint. She has had already, I think, 5 shows.
Already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not now. Now she says, due to COVID has affected her a bit.
How old is she now?
Sarah is special.
Okay.
So, but she's very good. She's a brilliant dancer.
I see. She's also into dancing. Okay.
Yeah, and she's very intelligent. She watches movies actually, and her whole, the paintings are based on the movies.
Okay.
She's very, very creative. You will never find 2 works of the same type, or she will never look at something and paint. It's always from her mind.
So does she go to school here, or how is it?
No, she was going to Lisa's school, Chocolate.
Okay.
And up to the 7th standard she did there. And then the 8th she was doing. But then I pulled her out because kids from here used to go. And then there was a problem with the visas for the foreigners and they could not stay. So all the kids from here who were going, they were not there, so she didn't have company to go. So I started teaching her at home. So
now, again, slightly different.
Yeah.
You see, careers is a big thing for young children, particularly when they are in the 11th, 12th, that kind of area. What do you think in terms of art? The children nowadays have a place in art, or have they forgotten it, or what do you think is happening there?
See, I will tell you, art is booming now. When I started my space, it was back in 1997. I left my job and decided to, do things for art. Now at that time, art was absolutely not something that people looked forward to in Goa. It was like, you're painting, it had no value, it's like that. Because of that, I started art classes for kids. I used to have art classes for kids. I had an assistant with me who was an artist also, and for veterans also. And people who, had problems, sometimes you paint and your mind gets free. So I used to have those classes. Then I made an inter-school class competition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There were 300, 400 entries which came. And I'm very proud to say that every winner of that went on to art college to become an artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
In fact, sometimes I was surprised that one of the kids was my classmate's kid actually. So I used to have that. Then later on, now in recent times, I've been Yeah, after a while I stopped, not for anything, it was taking a lot of my time, but in the meantime, other people had started also giving, art classes. People started getting awareness, so it was growing more, so I thought,
Yeah, exactly.
there's no need for me. I had already done the job of, trying to kind of make it important even in schools, because when
So basically what you're saying is that today our kids in Goa,
Yeah.
the ones who are interested in art, have definitely a good future in this area.
See, the future in art, you can never say that you have a future.
Okay.
It depends on how good you are, how persistent you are, and how hard you work, and how much you try to exploit your
Talent.
your talent, and how much you are innovative in what you're doing. So it's all about changing times, about working, and then the results come. It's not like you finish your graduation and then you're going to
Right. Okay.
be a winner. No, art takes a lot.
But there is a lot of talent in our country, in
Of
Goa.
course, there is a lot of talent, and I'm very happy that lots of kids are coming forward. The parents are backing them up. Whether they turn to art or not, it's
That's a
always
different
good
thing.
to have art in you, to have art knowledge.
Okay.
For example, I will tell you, when my husband came here initially, after I graduated, his knowledge of the art world was much more than mine.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
because out there, art is given.
That's a
huge
common
priority.
factor. Yeah.
Yeah. They take the kids to the museums and they talk about the old art, about every painting there, about its background, about the artist who did it. So they don't do it here.
Yeah, that's
Even now, I wish, and I've been telling people, they have excursions. They take them to factories, to here and there. Why not to museums and art galleries?
Yeah, that's right.
It's very, very important for a child. I hope they do it sometime.
Okay, now I have one request to you. Whichever of these beautiful works that you have done, can you spend a moment with our cameraman and explain what you have done, why you have done it, and what's the message to the world?
Yeah, I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
My art normally is based on sometimes personal, sometimes it's a message for everyone, but I never work directly, nor I talk about what I've done and why I've done little thing here. I prefer that people check my work and read it, and they have been reading it well. The thing is that I give a title that it becomes like a guideline for them to.
Yeah, I saw that one for the betrayer and the betrayed. That's the only one I actually saw it. I didn't see the other title.
Yeah, because the titles I
So perhaps you can take us to that one? Come.
Yes, absolutely. I would ask you, because this is the institution of it's the Last Supper, basically.
Yes.
Okay, and yes, I've written there the betrayed and the betrayer. I would ask you if you can kind of read my work.
Well, I know that the central figure is Jesus.
Right,
And somewhere in the back is a betrayer.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I think it is the one there with this biggish kind of eyes and looking
Right,
at Jesus.
yeah.
So,
that's Judas.
but what was in your mind when you did that?
No, that was exactly what it is. There were 12 apostles, okay? And nobody knew who was the betrayer, okay? But Jesus knew who the betrayer was, and so did the guy himself. And that is the reason why, if you look deeply, he's leaving the table, okay? He just put his chair in and he's leaving the table. So that's about how this work is. Any other?
What about this one?
Yeah, this one I called Mudagoa, Mudagoa, meaning the style of a Goan. It's changing now, of course, but it was like the style of a person being silent. You dressed up everything, you are wearing all the crap, that is happening here, but you're silent about it. This work was done somewhere in 2010, because if you see here, you will see, writings here, Garbage keeps Germans away from Goa. Then 2 stabbed. Then here, police, check on drugs, CBI summon, whatever. Then the slip is showing, but we don't know, and all the crap that's happening. Women held in Goa for running a sex racket and all the stuff. So we wear it all and we are silent about it, And now we are changing, we are trying to change it, but I don't know how far we'll be successful because it's pretty late. So again, I found this little piece here, And it was just by chance. And I saw that every person there, I think it was somewhere maybe in some touristic area, I think maybe in Dona Paula. But what happens there, if you see, is, everyone there is not from Goa. Okay? But there is one lady only here, sitting here, who is a Goan. So that I'm trying to show the ratio between Goans and people who have come in here. Now it becomes very difficult to say a non-Goan, but they are, unfortunately. I'm talking that we are being submerged by the total people coming from outside, and we are getting lost. But I must say she's very comfortable sitting there. She doesn't care about what the hell, and let anyone come, My absolute pleasure, my absolute pleasure.
We wish you good luck with the next
Thank you so much.
for your young daughter.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you.